Welcome to the Hidden Treasures podcast, where two pirate captains have a raw, unscripted, riffing conversation to poke at each other's mind to find the hidden treasures in the stream of conversation. My name is Captain Mavis. Ahoy.
Ahoy. So let's dive in. You know what's been going on with me?
Yeah.
I remember my New Year's resolution, which was to just stop paying attention to things that all they want is attention. And it's not helping. It's not helping. Me paying attention to it is not helping the situation. So I'm getting back into it. Getting back into not feeding it. And it's not just that. It's not just about, okay, drop that and just pretend nothing's going on, but drop that and instead invest my energy in having real conversations with people about possibilities and in steering myself towards them, aligning myself with those possibilities. And you know, when things really are so wrought and close and fragile and tense, then the little bits matter. And I learned a big thing, you know, I was like, morale is half the battle. And so I feel like I just gotta cultivate an attitude of hopeful activity directed towards the light, towards the possibilities. And I'm that's what I'm good at. I'm not good at worrying. I'm not good
At what? At worrying?
At worrying, at complaining. I'm happy to play to my strengths. And that means sorry. Just
that
to play
means
hold on to like the most elevated dreams that I dare to dream, and take them seriously and give them a chance to be. You know, this is. I think that's about as radical as I can get right now. It's reminds me of Zizek with demand the impossible. You know, we have to. It's like at this point only things that break the mold are gonna get ahead. So I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to dismiss all ideas that are still compatible with the old paradigm and just go straight for building a new one. Yeah, I'm fully committed to that.
I'm hearing a bit of like juicy threads that we've been discussing in this podcast. We want to say hi to our viewers because we have a couple of them that are joining us. So welcome to the podcast. Hello. You can drop us messages anytime. If you want to pitch into the conversation or ask us questions, your pop-in messages sometimes help to steer the riffing because this is an unscripted conversation and we just go places. So we're always also thankful for some input from the audience to steer the conversation with us. But what I'm hearing is like two threads. The Zero Fox thread that we had last week, right? Because your fox are your attention. It is an
Yeah,
investment, and we live in an attention economy, so our
yeah.
attentions are actually like pretty high fuck investment.
Attention is the only currency we have, and the more, especially when you realize how much of a joke fiat currency is, so like euros and dollars and stuff like this, it's like, no, your intention, it's like your attention is the only thing that doesn't replenish. The seconds and minutes and hours in your life are the only thing that can't be printed by some agency. So they are irreplaceable, and they are beyond compare. And yeah, any time that I spend glued to a screen, I am not spending it in eye contact with breathing humans. I'm not spending it writing poetry or playing guitar or cooking proper food or or so many things that will set me up way better for building the future I want to see, building the present I want to see, than uh keeping up to date with something that's deliberately there just to draw my attention and energy away from creating a world. So no, I'm learning to play that game a lot better. Or I remember that I used to know how to play that game, which was, don't, and just, yeah, go all in
Don't
on
what?
being like, don't get played. Don't get played. Be all in on your highest path. Be the be, if you have it if you can dare to dream, you should do it. And even my brother sent me one of those like coked up 2:30 a.m. messages like, "Hey, you're already so far out the mainstream. You shouldn't be paying any attention to the mainstream because you're already out. Like you should capitalize on your position as an edge dweller, as an outsider, and like stop
As an
fucking engaging.
outlier. As an outlier.
Yeah, like stop engaging with it. Like you you're yeah you like you reminded me that I already paid the price for being outside, and I should now capitalize on it and not like turn around. Like in the Bible, like if you look back at the collapsing Sodom and Gomorrah, you turn into a salt pillar. Like don't be salty, be moving.
I'm curious, how have you been doing that? Like engaging the mainstream, giving your fucks away to things that don't warrant your attention.
Just like for one example is like Hazanabi. I really like him, but he's paying attention to things that I pledged myself not to be paying attention to. So if I'm spending time watching him do it, I'm still doing it by proxy, so I shouldn't. Um, and also just like, yeah, reading, like staying up to date with the news, the deliberately confusing mess that is the pseudo news. And I honestly, I don't have the time or energy budget to engage with that because my dreams are much too bright and much too big uh, to be wasted in that way.
Mm,
Yeah, I have my job cut out for me, so to say.
what's the joke, Captain Obvious?
Be the change you want to see in the world, and the more concrete you have in mind what that change that you want to see is, the more specific the outline of what that means for you, what job that entails for you. So in my case, yeah, I feel like I'm being drawn back into my original journey, which was to start a traveling circus. And yeah, yeah, because that's just the most hilarious thing I can imagine doing. Um, yeah, to welcome back to the Wayback Machine. Yeah, I feel drawn back to my quest for doing a traveling circus because it's you really manage to find a lot of people and show them something else, something really else, really different. Um, and one thing that I do like about the current sort of time frame is how everything is getting loose. Um, People are getting much more open minded, and it's the new moon. It's the moon cycle in Pisces right now. So there's been really great. Like people are coming out of the closet as being astrologers and tarot readers and all this stuff. And at the same time,
Out of the broom closet.
yeah, another sign of the times in that regard. This moon cycle, both of my family, so both sides of my dad and my mom's family, both moved the family WhatsApp group to Signal. Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
trying
even.
to get my family to do that, but there's
It,
resistance.
it wasn't even me pushing for it. So yeah,
Well, I want to pick up the thing about a traveling circus because that reminds me as well as one of the Chaos Monastics paths that is outlined by my little Discordian cabal, which is the path of following the apostle Malaclips the Younger, the Wonder Chunk. So these are the monks of Chaos that don't have any like fixed residency and are just like traveling around with the purpose of being kind of like signposts of the goddess of chaos, confronting the gray faces and the normies with the possibility that life could look just like different, that
yeah,
there's just different ways to go about life,
yeah,
that
exactly. Yeah, that's
there's
exactly
another paradigm available,
exactly.
and
I
just by the
recognize this.
sheer presence of your weirdness, you ripple out into the field, um,
Yeah, it's like
the
just the
frequency of another
audacity.
possibility.
It's like the sheer audacity is what makes it an inspiration, and that's for sure the calling I feel. So I have a calling to make a traveling circus, and I want to do it with e-bikes and electric cargo bikes, and everybody brings like a flexible solar panel, and then you connect them all together to make a big circus tent, and you just bike small towns, and you just until the batteries are empty, and then you set up your circus, and you charge your batteries from the sun. And meanwhile, you do performance and go around with a hat and collect some cash. And then actually, the point is then to use that money because we actually probably don't need any. We use that money to buy the land where we set up camp on behalf of the community where we are, and we give it to them. So we create commons this way.
Mm,
I'm really running through it quickly. There's a longer post. It's called the Flying Tippy Land Trust Manifesto. I should put that up on Substack soon. Yeah, and indeed, it is to show. This is like a solar punk moment. Like it's to show the people something that sticks in their mind, so that anytime, like the fear propaganda stories come in, telling people, "Oh, you have no alternative but to, you know, to continue this dead end nonsense." That they have a antidote in their mind. Like no. I hear you, and I always believe that, but I had this experience that is just countermanding that
mm,
assertion that there is no alternative. So just I want to like inoculate people against in a way against doomerism
mm,
by demonstrating that alternatives are not just possible, but that alternatives are compelling and that
yeah.
alternatives are juicier and more alive than the old story. So
And this is
we set up our
another.
camp in the towns, and then in the evening the youth of the town sneaks out to come join us around the fire and like hear stories and perhaps get mushroomed and run away and join the
Some acid
circus.
testing.
I'm 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 literally just yeah. I want to give people the opportunity to run away and join the circus.
Hmm.
And I think
Hmm.
now is the best time. Like already past year, last year already, people were open to it. I feel that since basically since Corona, many people have already, in a way, Corona broke the trust, broke the paradigm, broke the hegemony for most people, and they
But
tried.
I feel like there was a yeah, there was a breaking and an opening in the cracks, but still a lot of people just fell right back into the trance. And what I'm seeing is that a lot of people right now are sort of stunned with what's happening in the US. And yeah, I'm seeing Wayback Machine is saying that like this flying circus might work in Europe but not in the US. But there's a sense of being stunned, like also like a disbelief that this coup is just like too weird to be true for a lot of people mind frame to
Too weird to be true.
grasp the reality of what's
Right.
happening.
So, but that's why I feel like what I like about the flying circus or the traveling circus idea is it is even weirder. In a way, right now the if you want to propose an alternative, it has to aesthetically and be something that is felt as being clearly different.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
not
feel
just like the standard hippies moving around
right.
that sort of appeared in the field of super conservative spaces, but just like really something so out there that your filters of perception cannot render it out.
Yeah, or you can't explain it away, and in a way, it's supposed to poke at dormant parts of a personality. Like
Mm.
simply being exposed to this movement will awaken new aspects of people's personality that they hadn't considered, or that were dormant because, well, in a way, they were dormant because there was no
Permission.
application for them. Yeah, there was no permission, no application, no nothing to resonate with outside, nothing to connect it to.
Mm.
And yeah, it's not always safe or efficient or useful to let your freak out. And
I had this conversation in the last ritual with it this Sunday, the Zero Fox, not Thursday, the Zero Fox ritual. Um, I had a gathering of a lot of like neurospicy folk. It was very beautiful. They just realized like, wow, everyone that's sitting here is a neurospicy weirdo, either like an ADHD dealer and autistic, or even like a mix of both. And we were talking about that in certain environments it's very difficult to unmask. There's a risk to unmask. Like I had two girls that were from Russia and then
mhm.
had like to flee from Russia because yeah, being like weird, neurospicy, witchy is a risky thing to be and to show yourself. And I had also a person that was a bit like almost boomer generation, I would think, from what they are, and they were saying like, no, man, like it's cool here, but like in my work or around I cannot unmask. It's dangerous to unmask, right? So
Right.
this is also about creating permission, like spaces of permission, and that are maybe in a way safety, because if you show up weird and unmasked and like
And
transmit
thriving.
that authentic frequency that
Hmm.
you bring in to a space, then that gives permission to others as well to kind of like peel the layers of the mask on and get to like deeper layers of their personality that they even never dared to access because it was dangerous to show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's why doing it is important. If you have some weirdness to offer, that some space to create for people to yeah, be that in, to allow themselves to explore that in a and to be met in there as well, to be acknowledged and recognized, and to share that experience with others, and have it be something that's generative and that adds something, that that's very healing, and it's very encouraging and inspiring. And that's the real journey here. I think is to approach our current time as a time of collapse, and to acknowledge that what's needed then is healing, inspiration, encouragement, recognition, embracing. And it's really in that sense an appeal to empathy, not just with each other but with yourself. An
Yeah,
appeal to not to hide in hegemony and sameness, but really to appreciate difference and diversity, because that's extra needed in a time when things become unpredictable. The future is getting more unpredictable every day, and the healthy response, the being at peace and relaxed response to that is, all right. Let's see. Let's welcome everybody to put all their cards on the table and find out what stories can be told. And yeah, like Wayback Machine is saying, the U.S. vibe is right now pretty
I
gnarly.
can imagine that for many people with what's going on in the US, that there's an opposite trend. Like people that have been living out as neurodivergent, as witchy, as LGBTQ, or other forms of like empowered self-expression, with the backlash that is happening right now, that it feels scary, and it feels like we need to get back in some form of closet to stay safe. And that might be well the case. Like I think depending how bad things get and how Gestapo things get, um, people will have to conceal back in a way. And yet, I would say that it's part of the soft rebellion to not to do so. To at least like create and find the spaces
Yeah,
where that's still possible.
yeah. I mean,
To like
there's like this don't capitulate in advance thing.
mm,
But I mean, I empathize with people feeling scared and not wanting to do it, and you know, being and cautioning themselves and censoring themselves. I would just,
getting quieter and conforming and adapting to the new
yeah.
vibe.
But in a
Mm,
way, I feel that my sort of Dutch European privilege then further, in a way, demands for me to push on it and make the space happen and keep the fire burning and keep the yeah, because there is still opportunity and there is still space to
Still, like I mean, let's see how long.
exactly that
Um,
I'm using still. So as long as this window of opportunity is open, I wanna do it.
so so
And
that's the plan for the summer
that's
traveling circuit.
for the foreseeable future. Yeah, for sure. Work on that step by step, and yeah,
Yeah,
and
I feel
it's
you,
also a way
man.
to.
Um,
I think also reaching people face to face is very important.
mm,
Yeah, for certain things to really have a lasting impression and inspire people towards considering their culture as something that they are creating together in real time, rather than like, oh, this is culture and this is how you behave. Like, no, to remind people that we are all co-creators in the culture that we inhabit. Yeah, there is no better time. There's never been a better time to open in a way, the floodgates of the imagination. I'm reminded of this a two-parter South Park episode, Imagination Land. Yeah, also has this kind of weird alternative world.
That's a
So
bit of the mission that I am in proposing, like creating spaces for people to engage in active imagination, to connect to their more magical selves, to connect to their dreaming, to connect to the parts in themselves that seek freedom, that allow themselves to be playful,
yeah,
that allow themselves to tap into their magic and into the weird. And that's why also I frame this. I mean, it's a coaching program, but I frame it as a story in piracy, a mythopoetic story of piracy, because what that engages the active imagination, right? And the ship is called the Pipilota because, yeah, I mean, Pippi Langstrumpf is such an archetype of I create my world however I want, create my world, and I have the power
yeah,
to defy authority by having a stack of like pirate gold, that buys you out of whatever authority says. It's like the adults say, like, you have to do this, you can't do that, you can't
I hear you.
play with
Yeah,
this. And then Pippi Langstrom goes, yes, fuck, I can buy all the candy I want. Here's some gold. I can wear all the dresses I want. Here's some gold. And it's not that much about the currency, but it's just like this act of like, I have this treasure
right.
that allows me to defy authority and to do whatever the fuck I want as a kid.
And that's where we started, right? Attention is the currency.
Yeah.
It's in a way like our real birthright as humans on this planet is to be creators, uh, co-creators. But we don't have to believe in the myth that all the currency to create the world is owned by other people, because we have time. Each of us has time, and there are cultures, and there are cultures possible, and there have been cultures where it, where human life is valued to the point where everybody's attention is valued. And even our culture values everybody's attention, or we wouldn't be so busy trying to focus it and trying to use it for ends. So, for sure, even our culture acknowledges that our attention is so valuable. So, if we can spend time in, you know, if we can spend time in a realm that opens up the mind, we can change the way we perceive our reality. And by changing the way we perceive our reality, we can empower ourselves to change our reality and to connect with the people with whom we're going to change our reality.
Mhm.
And this is where my mission feels, and this is also where I feel like our missions connect. And yeah, and I allow myself the luxury of seeing that as a sort of transcendental quest, like a soul journey. Like I've been
Mm.
handed this quest down from the fates, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, and if
Well,
and if that's
I've been
delusional,
handed the
great.
quest by the maybe. Like I framed it in a different mythopoetic narrative. Instead of telling that the Fates is the cosmic customer care department that handed me down the quest. It's like, well, you signed a shift for the cosmic customer care department. It's on Earth, and it's in time of collapse. Have fun. Here you go, agent of change.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
But it,
exactly.
but it's the stories that make it. It's the stories we create in our own myth that
Mm-hmm.
makes the situation bearable, right? Because we can, like, coming back to the narratives, we can fall into the doomerism, observing of what's happening and observing the techno brolyarchy roll out their
Yeah, but
dystopia.
you know what I think? You know what I think? It's like the the even like the Brolarchy dystopia is like a packaged story that's being sold to us,
Yeah, yeah,
because you can use that sort of idea of, oh, much more powerful people are already grouping to do things I can't change anything about. This is like a tempting thing to convince yourself to take the easy road, which is to um, not invest the energy to change. It's like to just go with the flow and stay in the be a sheep in the flock and just get led to the slaughter or get led to the just do like, oh, they're gonna need us or whatever. It's just I'm
Who controls the narrative controls the mind. So this is
and this is
about
why.
claiming back the narrative. And this is a topic I've been reading a lot about here in Substack lately. Like a lot of the articles that come across my feed and the people that have been connecting with me and I've been connecting to are like tooting into the same horn, right? We
Yeah,
need to reclaim the narrative. This is a story.
right,
They're also just like enacting their own gameplay, their own narrative, and they're
exactly.
sure they
And
have the
this is
big
and this
means, the mass media, the transmission to create
yeah,
the
but
big narrative, but it is only a narrative. And if you buy into the narrative, then it's easier to get lost in it. And what we need to realize is that we need to reclaim our craft of storytelling or spellcrafting or myth making or imagination and put
mhm,
that into use to crafting other narratives for a different outcome. Because when the world falls into chaos, there's a big malleability in reality to actually um, put those spells, those narrative
right.
spells, into the ether, and that they can actually then reshape reality. Oh, we have some more new viewers
Uh-huh.
leaving art
And then you
school
have
coming back.
and then you have when those as those new stories compete for attention,
Mhm.
that's where you learn how powerful you actually are, even if the only thing you're doing is choosing where to put your attention, because
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
where you vote with the only currency you have. When they say vote with your wallet, the only currency that you can vote with is your attention. And this is why that's why I like the traveling circus, because it's a big show. Once the traveling circus rolls into town, that is the story. That's the
It
story of
claims
the
attention there for
yeah.
sure. Yeah,
And
because it's something unprecedented, right? Like
yes,
if you descend on a small town with a fucking traveling circus full of weirdos, then it's just a jailbreak into their usual mundane
yeah,
reality, and they
exactly.
can't ignore it because it's just that weird.
And the music is just that good, and the vibe is just
And the
that.
vibes, and the vibes.
It's like even if you want to hate it, even if you want to hate it because you can feel like, oh, this is gonna change things. Like, yeah, but it's the vibe. And yeah, the more the boomers hate it, the more the kids are gonna love it. And this is just I'm happy to for me this is the most joyful strategy I can pursue, because everything else just seems like fighting against things that I don't want to feed.
So we have some commentary here. Let me see. Wayback Machine says that what's I love Europe, that in the US you're dead or in jail or both. Under the present circumstances, probably, yeah, that would put oneself a little bit in risk. But we still need the risk takers to that, right? That's also part of the series of posts I've been sharing. I don't remember her name, but soft rebellion, joyful, like stay joyful, like create, like see what is the strategy to opposing the narrative that creates and sparks most joy in you, because it's a frequency, right? A frequency as well. And it's about like tapping into that aliveness in your body as well for the stuff you're going to be doing.
And
And instead of like just taking it to the barricades and being enraged, find the thing that sparks joy in a way that shows aliveness and the possibility for a different path. And yeah, my mentor was telling me yesterday I had a good conversation with my mentor, and he's like, "Yeah, well, we've been probably already burned at the stakes a couple of times in our lifetimes, and we know how that is, right? And still, we might at some point catch a bullet in our head or be burned or jailed or something, but then it's like it's also the best way to go as an agent of change because it's like at least you did something that pissed them off so much that they felt
Yeah,
the need to
yeah,
take you out,
yeah.
and
When you rejoin the
then you leave
chorus
an
of
impact,
angels, you have a
right?
good story.
So yeah, fuck it. Like if maybe if when Europe turns fascist at some point, I'll be also like whatever the version of witch burning is gonna be, end up like that. But um, as long as if you take that radical out as a possibility that might happen, you get to be more free in doing the shit that makes you alive and that creates that transmission of freedom and aliveness and permissions for other to join the soft rebellion.
Yeah,
Just
that's
as
it.
a sigil for a spurn,
Yeah,
Kronos
it's like
says, just like a
when you
sigil for a spell has to be burned, witches need to be burned on a fire. It's like the meta sigil. Yeah, and I have sigil tattoos on my body, so yeah, let them burn out, and that will unleash the magic I have cast upon myself. Sure, why not?
and you don't you have also your other podcast, the Stoned Witches, for because
Yeah.
witches in these days don't get stoned, they get burned. Oh no, they don't get burned, they get stoned. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right now I'm not stoned though. I'm fasting cannabis. So, and I don't know if I'm gonna go. What do I do if I don't go back to cannabis waste? Can I still do this Stone Witches podcast? I haven't
Of
thought of
course,
that.
of course. Why not?
Yeah, let's see. I caught myself today and it's like, okay, day 6 without cannabis. I've gone through the headaches today. My head feels cleared, and I was like, maybe I'll just stick to it and not go back to smoking pot.
I'm I'm
Um,
I'm I'm also ready for that. I think I'm going to be doing a bit of that. Yeah. I think also because
um,
for me it's seasonal. The winter is over. I'm not in a miserable puddle anymore. I don't need my collected sunlight flowers. I can actually have sunlight.
you were getting your sunlight through the cannabis flower. That was a gig.
Yeah, that was the gig. I was just like that was my way of staying sunny.
For me, I think this article, this meditation I sent you, like sort of hit a spot. What they were saying there, because this is
Yeah,
something I have been pondering upon with my cannabis use, like, and with every substance, with every drug, there's some advantages and some boni you get and some mali, and I do enjoy indeed the mellowness and the presence, and the creativity I get about cannabis, and this more ability to be more in the flow and to slow down because my mind
hmm
is like just very fast usually, and there's a lot going on there. Um, and I'm curious how that goes now after the fast. But what I was noticing is that this plant has been taking vitality out of me.
yeah, yeah,
Um, that there is a sluggishness that comes in, and a decrease of physical vitality. And that I think that in these times and with the mission ahead, and what we need to prepare for, building networks of resilience, in activating the community, in
yeah.
rallying people, and
vitality is not a resource to be squandered for to be squandered. Basically,
Yeah.
it's in that sense it's not worth the exchange. The
Yeah,
work is
you
too
could try
pressing.
smoking on the weekends. Yeah, maybe at some point. One I can come back to just like not habitually, but just like every once in a while. Um, but I think it takes also a long time for THC to really declutter your
It
brain, like to
does.
get out of your brain and to get out of your like to rebalance your endocannabinoid system as well.
Yeah,
Somebody was sharing that it's just like after 6 months to a year that you start to feel the full effects of your system rewiring
because your
to not
brain cells
to
grew back.
and yeah, maybe just like I mean I started loving the cannabis plant because I was a super workaholic and I was back before I was in politics. I was such a fucking workaholic and I would like work from mornings to evenings and the weekends and I had energy to go on and on and on and on and on until fucking burnout. And then getting this regular habit of cannabis is like mellowed me out, slowed my thinking as well. And it's also, I was always joking that my cannabis habit has cost me a couple of IQ points as well, which
It's not
I
a joke.
always, it's not a joke, but the joke I made out of this is like, this is a good thing,
Yeah,
because it
finally.
makes me a bit
Yeah,
more compatible with a lot of people
yeah,
to
yeah.
just like drop about like 10 to 20 IQ points.
It beats all the alternative ways to reach the same point.
But
It's
maybe this time and age we're heading into, it's not a
no
resource that can be squandered either.
another
Like,
resource we cannot squander. Indeed. Yeah. This time requires the very best of us. We're being called. We're being called up. Yeah. That's just what it is. And I still, yeah, I still have my. I feel like I still have my mission with marijuana, but it's more about helping others get out of their uh, tobacco infused habits around it
mm.
than to myself be an embodiment of ganja on the planet. Yeah.
An embodiment of ganja on the planet.
Yeah, because in a way,
Well,
I feel like I'm channeling the spirit of the plant, but there are enough people for doing that. I have
I've
my
always also very young felt called, like, I felt called to the spirit of this plant, like when I was already like 10 or 12. I started like falling in love with this plant way before I started even smoking it. So I've also have a strong narrative of like, like I'm a ganja shaman, whatever.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
but I think yeah, it's time to flip that script and to flip that story maybe. And
marijuana
there's
is
another.
also a storyteller. It's a storyteller drug. It's a storyteller spirit. You know, it's very connected with weaving uh, because of the fibers, and I do think ganja is a great tool to get people to tell crazy stories like fairy tales and myths. It is
And
interesting.
to also connect to this more playful side of life, this also the more the flexibility to actually go a bit with the flow, to step out of the more constricted scripts of your mind, and allow yourself to connect to wilder parts of yourself.
Yeah, but there.
I'm gonna miss it for sex though.
Mhm. But it's not. Yeah, but there are. I feel. Yeah, I can. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's.
Kronos Cal says MJ gives me panic attacks, a bit jealous of the mellow smokers. Well,
Uh-huh.
According to the Eight Circuit Brain model, this could be because you have not enough safety in your body. Because if your body does not feel like really regulated and safe, then the cannabis will put an extra surge of circuit 5 shock into that system that then creates a panic reaction or also prone to paranoia. So start by building up more safety in your body before you turn to the leaf.
Yeah, good point. I like that. Yeah, often it just reveals what you need. Like in this case, a need for feeling more safe. And on the other hand, I'm also one of those paranoid smokers. But for me, it's the paranoia is the point. That's the medicine. It's I'm one of those ones. It's like yeah,
I,
I'm not so afraid of this.
I don't get paranoia. Like I had maybe one experience of paranoia with marijuana, but that was in a time where like a lot of my life had fallen apart and the apartment had just like nearly burnt down. We were like sitting in the scorched place, and then I had some smoke, and then I had some paranoia around um, like police coming back and looking at my altars and starting an investigation for being in a cult or something.
I
But
mean,
usually I don't get any paranoia.
yeah,
I'm more prone to paranoia as well than to paranoia.
yes, very good. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I like the paranoia angle. I think that comes back. That brings us back to this idea of hey, be the change you want to see in the world, even if that means like taking risks with your ontology and taking a gamble on your reality, and yeah, just really
Yeah,
really being playful with a new map of reality.
sometimes it will come back to that like audacity to live your own myth, to
Mm-hmm.
live your own story, to live your most authentic self-expression as well. And
Yeah.
in a way, yeah, like we talked about it right
No,
with the
yeah.
Elon dream.
No,
It's
but it's
like
perfect.
the
The audacity is the courage. You have the courage to. It's inspiring. That's like in a way the very word audacity means like people notice how you are thwarting the expectations, and you don't seem to give a fuck. And that fits in well with your paradigm of cultivating your fucks. Like, yeah, I'm not giving a fuck about what people think about my like audacity is in the eye of the beholder. So it's like a noticed form of courage that is thwarting expectations. And then if it works for you, so the point is not just to be audacious, but to be thriving in your audacity, then it can be an inspiration and it can remind people like, hey, maybe especially when the old story stops working, which it has. Um, that's the time to introduce new paradigms, to introduce new ideas, to experiment with different formats. And we desperately need them. Like we are in a time that needs new ideas. So it's
Mhm.
yeah, and if it takes you marijuana to have new ideas, please indulge. But I feel like I did my idea making already. I have my notes from my trips. Now I have work to do, and I need to focus on it, and I need to realize it. And that's where the shadow side of the marijuana comes in, where it drains your vitality when you use it as a way to sort of placate the feelings of oh I should really be doing stuff right now. Yeah, and when you so it's
Yeah,
always
it's yeah. I mean, I appreciated that part of it because, as I said, like to rewrite the workaholic script, it was good in the sense of like I always have this urgency that I have a lot of stuff to do and that I need to be doing, and then marijuana helps me to mellow out to like, yeah, I mean, it's not that urgent. I can do it tomorrow. It can be done later. I can chill a bit. Um, but I think the time for that mellow is just over now, and there
Yeah.
is more urgency to actually get shit
Yeah.
done again, and
And it's also the
more
spring.
more shit.
We're moving into Aries season. And yes, the old story stopped working. So now it's really the time. If you have a new story, show up with it and share it. Yeah,
And I do have a story.
you do. You do.
I do have a story.
You
I
have
have
it.
a story of piracy
Yes,
that
I
I want to
definitely do.
instigate people to consciousness pirates.
Exactly. If you feel like, oh, this sounds interesting, but I don't know where to start, start with Mariana. Like this is a yeah. I feel like you helped me with it. Yeah, I feel the difference. Even if I was already, even if I was already exploring new ideas, and if I felt like, oh yeah, just the way that you have a tendency to show up in just the right time in my life, but also in other people's lives, it's like I feel encouraged to believe in my story in a way because of its audacity. In this sense, the synchronicity of it all, yeah, it's like just gives me the that extra push to believe in myself. So
For me, it was this, yeah, this little Discordian cabal, the Ordo Dea Discordia said, like, if you want to be a chaos monk, the only thing is like you have to dare to live your own madness. That's the commitment, to live your own madness, like audaciously live your own madness. And usually, going on a monastic path means that you have some form of, like, what is the English word for Entsagungen? Like something that you have to deprive yourself.
fastings, yeah, yeah,
Fastings, yeah.
yeah,
But the only thing that
austerities.
you're fasting as a chaos monk is the drawbacks that it has for playing the polite social games
Mm-hmm.
when you live your own madness. And in a way, I mean, I have some of those drawbacks as I'm trying to make a living as a transformational coach. I would have made my life so much easier if I would found a niche for people that like actually money and that are well settled and that like know about the value of hiring a coach for doing inner work. But no, instead I chose to go like I want to work with the mad ones and with the edge dwellers and the celts and the magicians and the poets and the artists, and I love them all. And you're like you're
you,
my favorite crowd, but
I
like
think you
yeah,
secretly
everyone's
have
so
a
fucking
deep-seated
broke.
desire to save them.
To save them.
Yeah, even like you just watch people like get maybe it's not just save them, but also like
No,
just to encourage people to be themselves.
I want to empower them.
Yeah,
I want to empower them to shine their frequency. I want to empower them to bring their gifts into the world. I mean, and it's the same with you, fucking Captain Obvious, you know? I see you struggling still and like hanging around and not owning your creativity and it's just like, oh, like it itches me. It itches me. And then you avoid conversations with me all fucking week until we get on the podcast and I get to pick your brain. Uh,
yeah, but I've
and
also
I
been
just want
I've
to,
been avoiding screens. I've been avoiding. I don't know. I've been trying to, yeah, drop off a bit. I've been trying to drop off a bit. Also make a bit
yeah,
more
see, you've
to
been less online on the Telegram. I can see that. And
yeah,
then kudos
yeah.
for that, for like, for fasting screen time.
Basically, my devices are just on airplane mode unless I need internet, and I'll take it off airplane mode, and then do the thing and then put it back on airplane mode
Yeah,
and just
that explains also the lack of responsiveness. Yeah,
yeah, because then I'm by the time your message comes in, it's like 2.5 hours later because I'm just not online. And I have to say,
it's good.
it's good for my mental health, yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
and for my ability to keep focus for periods of time. And yeah, I don't know. I need this. I need this. But I understand. It's yeah. It is. It's time to get to work. And this was part of my fasting, Lent, fasting, self criticism. It's like what happened. One of the things that happens is I run out of excuses,
Hmm.
or rather, I recognize that my excuses, most of them are self criticism or
Mm.
thinly veiled variants on the theme of self criticism. And I'm just
So
like, oh,
what?
I don't buy them anymore. I don't buy my own excuses anymore. Yeah, and then yeah, so I just have a desire to be on it. I just have a desire to be on my reading, writing, moving, dancing, yoga, breathing, eating properly.
Bulking up that protein before the chain supply
Yeah,
stops and we can order protein from the internet to bulk up.
I need to get some more. Yeah, yeah. I need to
Yeah,
buy
me
some.
too. I'm running out.
I ran out of my proteins.
I see a couple of comments here though. Like Living Art School is having a situation with his son that needs to get some bone repair, and also saying that yeah, it's good for writing, good for story. Wayback Machine is saying that it makes him think about death, and I don't like that one. That's a curious one.
It is, isn't it?
Cannabis makes you think about death. Uh, And then
Interesting.
there's some commentary about the pirates from Leaving Art School as well. Yeah, Johnny Depp is I that character is one of my favorite pirate characters. It's such a Discordian pirate. What was his name? Like Captain Jack Sparrow, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like he just like makes such impossible moves as well. That are
Yeah.
highly like he managed to fuck over authority because he managed to stay super unpredictable and weird.
Yes. And yeah, yeah, having this like deliberately broken compass, and yeah, that he has a bad reputation. Ah, but you have heard of me. It's like yes, he's not afraid to be notorious, and in a way, like that's the point. In a way, it's more about the story. He's not because the reason he's unpredictable is because he's not really chasing gold or um, status. So it's hard for somebody who is chasing status to predict what he's on about. But he is
Yeah,
kind of chasing. He's chasing himself. He's chasing like the wildest version of himself. He's chasing the wildest story. That means, yeah, by definition, nobody can predict. So yeah,
the
maybe if you
compass
want,
was not broken. The compass was not broken though. The compass pointed to the actual core of your desire, and that was the interesting thing, right? Because sometimes
yeah.
you don't know what the core of your desire is until you actually find it.
I mean, I feel like that movie did kind of instill the idea that there could be a core desire, which could be a hidden desire, that if I would find it, it would help me navigate my life with all the strong backwinds of synchronicity to push me into to fill my sails with. And you
Mm.
know what? I think I managed it. I think I find it. Yeah. So what can I say? Yeah, the pirate captain paradigm works for me.
Let's talk a bit about the captain pirate captain paradigm. Because for one, it's two aspects that I find fascinating about that, or the way, at least the way I'm playing with it. One is about like taking ownership of your life, right? Like taking, like, you put on the captain for your own life, you steer your own ship, you steer your own story. Yeah, sure, authenticity and your crew as well. The crew is an important part of it. You can't be a pirate captain without a crew. You need a crew to be with, to be in service to be a
And
pirate captain.
hmm
But in the sense, it's like, yeah, this taking ownership of your life as well, writing your own code, playing by your own rules, creating the rules with your crew. So it's like creating your network, your community that works with your own crew. But we had something playing as well with this like Discordian pirate captain paradigm, with a couple of Chaos Magic friends, that when you are a crew of pirates, like, they could vote the captain, right? Um, so if the captain was not doing a good job, the crew could come together and say like, "I we need a different captain. This captain is not just not doing the job good." So then the crew can vote for another captain. And we were playing it a little bit even more fluid, and I think this can be like an organization principle of anarchist groups as well, to say like, the person that is more apt for a specific mission gets voted captain, but if the mission changes and another one is more apt to lead that mission, then they get to be captain, and so the captain hat can be like passed around the crew as well, depending who the best man woman to lead the mission is.
uh-huh. Reminds me of the concept of the focalizer, which is also, yeah, it's like where the captain is not really a role of leadership or bossing, but it's like, oh, you it's like you own that issue. You are responsible for managing the work that goes into this particular quest or this particular task.
Merit-based captaincy. Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Hard, maybe even not even really that, because it's like, or the way I describe that is, or that reads to me when you say merit based captaincy, it's like, oh, somebody earned the right to be the captain. Somebody showed themselves capable of being the leader. Um, so yeah, okay. Also, that's one aspect of it. Yeah.
There was I was part of another coaching container a couple of years back that was called Liberation, Love, and Leadership, and he proposed an interesting concept about leadership. A lead, for example, is also when you have a storm and then you have a pole that kind of like drives the electricity in and leads the electricity into the earth, so like attracts the lightning and leads
Mm-hmm.
that electricity somewhere. So somebody that steps into the role of leadership is actually also a conductor, a container for a certain current
And a
that you
conductor
are
as well.
embodying. So the moment that you step into the pirate captain paradigm, you sort of call in a certain quality, a current that is of service to the crew and to the cause. And it's
Yeah.
not that much anymore about your person or your ego or what you want, but it's about leading that charge of current
Yeah,
to
I like that.
activate the container, to activate the crew, to
Right.
activate the mission.
It's like when you step up, you also, it's like you get marked by Zeus, by the lightning strike. Mm-hmm.
Responsibility, but also responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
What is your
Even
certain
responsibility, which is like the ability to keep the matter in your brain.
How that? I didn't get that. I was reading one of the
It's
comments.
like pons, like res is Latin for the case or the matter.
Ah,
Pons is a part of the brain,
mm-hmm.
and then ability. So,
So like be open minded, but not let your brain fall out. Like
no, it's literally the yeah, but just the ability to have the matter on your mind.
mm. To keep the crew on track, right? It's like you have the
Yeah,
mission in mind. The mission is voted by the crew as well, right? The captain can
yeah.
propose a mission and can propose a course of action, but that's also voted by the crew. And then the captain has the job to uh, to keep in mind what's necessary for the mission, right? And to make
Hmm.
decisions that will aid the mission as well, and
Yeah.
to be in support of whatever the crew needs to fulfill the mission,
Yeah.
to
So for me,
provide what.
in a way, in the circus, you also have this character. You know, the one with the hat. You know, it's just one of the.
Mm,
It's really, in some sense, it's just another clown. He's just wearing a hat and a suit to signify, master of ceremony. Um, but it's kind.
will you take
It's
on the
also,
hat, the master of
yeah, for
ceremony?
sure,
Is
for sure.
that your role?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a pirate captain. This in the circus.
The responsibility is what keeps a lot of people taking the hat from taking the hat for their own lives, but especially a group.
But that's good. That's normal. I'm happy about that because it's most people in the group just want to chill. They just want to have a good time. They just want to feel part of it. They just want to take part. They just want to do their jobs. They don't really want to steer, and that's great. I mean, it's not necessarily fun. Like you got to have a particular case of yeah. It's not for everyone to want to wear this hat. But within your own life, it's good to be able. It's
For
good
your
to be.
own life, it's good to be able to put on the captain's hat. Yeah, and that is
Yeah.
sort of what I try to guide my crews to at the end of the journey that I propose. It's like, yeah, for the duration of the journey, I'll be your captain. But by the end of the journey, there's an invitation to claim the own captain's hat for your life and go find your own crew as well. Because we're not gonna need just like one pirate crew to mock the emerging empire. We're gonna need a fleet,
Uh,
a big fucking fleet of pirates, of unpredictable, foolish pirates to mock this empire that's
uh,
emerging.
so it's an MLM after all, huh, Admiral?
Fuck. No, if you put it like that, fuck. Is it though?
Who knows?
Who knows? Like, I mean, everybody has a different mission then after that.
Hmm. Yes, but yeah,
it,
just I'm happy for people to become pirates on your journey. I think it's good for most people to do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out Captain Mavis's posts on the subject. When are you launching? 21st of March on the
mm,
spring equinox.
well, no, after on the 23rd because it's the
23rd.
Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
on the
because the
equinox,
23rd.
we stop. There's chance to onboard until the equinox, until the 21st, because I have actually a trip sitting client for the 22nd. So I'm gonna be trip sitting on the 22nd. And then on the 23rd, we onboard the ship and we set our intentions and we meet the crew on the docks and the whole shebang. And then there's one more week to think about the monastic oath that you're going to make for committing to doing the magical work and the magical experimentation work for the duration of the journey. So yeah, they're still shy of 2 weeks to jump on board. Um,
Okay. Yeah. And then it's just every Sunday for 3 months, and during the week, time to do your quests, and it's interesting 3 months because it's like being in a you because you open kind of the floodgates of your personal process when you ceremonially invite your process to emerge. Yeah, it's like, oh, is that so? You wanna Yeah, you get faced with a lot of interesting things from the depths, as well as fun adventures that have been just waiting for the right time to come up in your life. And for me also, and I think that's the traveling circus is something like that as well. It's like having a container of synchronicity and adventure, uh, and acknowledgement and care, in which l- much more dense life experience can occur than when you're just in a way going through the motions or just in
mm,
baseline reality. It's adding a layer to reality that yeah is like mythopoetic space holding for
yeah,
because in a way
it's a
it's
content.
yeah, it's a container. It's a container to give credence to the idea that life is a journey of spiritual development. And it's like, yeah, it's got something monastic, doesn't it? The traveling circus.
Also, because there is also some sort of entsagung that you have by just like traveling around with a bike, dedicating yourself to the mission of showing up again and again in different towns, pulling out the show. It also requires some sort of discipline in
It's
a
a
way.
practice. It's yeah, it's exactly. So I feel honored to have this idea, and to be so, and to have some specific fixed location missions attached to it, to start communities, and to empower existing communities to level up their game, and establish trade routes from intentional communities and eco villages. And yeah, this I feel like this making the big net, like turning all the different like eco villages into a big network connected by
Mm.
solar powered e-bike convoys. That is going to be a big paradigm shift for the new world that we're building together.
Like weaving the mycelium.
Exactly, exactly. The mycelial circus. This is a
And you're gonna have your friend, our common pirate friend, Fox, build all those bikes for you.
yes.
Does he know about this?
Oh yes, he does know. He says, as long as you got the cash, anything's possible.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to. There might be times. There might be times when I'll join the circus for a while because I haven't done the Wonder Chunk path. I've been like this chaos monastic paths of Discordianism
Oh my god,
that are
I want to
proposed
see
are like
you.
five.
You know what you? I want to do. You would be awesome in like the little circular tent, the little deep purple circular tent where there's like a witch pondering an orb with tarot cards. You would be excellent at this. Like, and it would and then like the customer care tent.
Because of
Would
a
be
keratin. Yeah, go see the
very good.
witch. Like you have some sort of grievances. Go see the witch.
Yeah,
And she has a like I like the Terry Pratchett version of Granny Weatherwax, which is also like witchcraft is basically spicy psychology
it is. Yeah,
and mind fuckery.
exactly, exactly.
um,
That's why I'm sure you
so
would be great.
yeah,
The
yeah,
tarot
sure.
cards
I can
are
I can see
pro-
like I dream of this time, you know, I dream of this time. I'm really looking forward for like my crone times of being as like a very fucking ass weird witch that is sitting somewhere at the edge of the village or at the edge of the circus, and most of the time like unbothered doing her thing, and whenever people come and have some grievance or some lookout advice or need to detangle their mind or need to get clarity or so,
Mm-hmm.
they come see the witch, and then maybe they get some like confusing rant out of me, and then they have to ponder some more, and then they come back from some more medicine, and then maybe they get like a different kind of medicine that's more warm and loving, but maybe they just get some real, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be a very fun crone. But it's
So
not time yet. It's not time yet.
no, but what it
Um,
is time for
is to wrap it up.
is to wrap it up. Is to wrap it up.
The rabbit up.
We go back out of this little rabbit hole for the moment, and we thank our beloved chatters
Yeah, it's
as
been
well
a
as
quite it's
you.
been quite chatty here. Living
Mm-hmm.
Art School has been coming back and back for this transmissions. Thank you for the support.
Yeah,
Kronos Cows, by the way, here is
yeah.
one of the new recruits for the Pipilota. He just jumped
Aha.
on board yesterday.
Ahoy, matey.
Yeah,
Very good.
boy made
I will not be on this journey with you, but yeah, fun. This.
and Wayback Machine that like was saying that like last time he was giving us the attitude for what the fuck are you doing the lives, and he stayed for the whole life. So like I'm curious, man. I'm curious like what
Yeah,
you're
no,
getting out of this.
no, but that's because it's just the love. This time we'll be wrapping up because also I think my pizza is here.
And also my battery is about to die, so
Aha, I see. So, well, yes, thank you also, Mariana, for this chat. And yeah,
what's your hidden treasure
so
for this episode?
yeah, this the mission remains, and this is just somehow it's self confidence that is like coming from inside. It's not about bravado. There's something humbling in showing up for it. Like yeah, and I'm just I don't know yet. I'll look back what the when we get the clips. I'll see like, oh yeah, that's right.
I'll
That's
tell
that.
you what my robot says about it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward. And you?
But for me, it's about this the fox, the attention and the vitality is not a resource to squander anymore. We don't have the luxury to squander our resources of vitality, attentions, and the fox we give, and we need to really cultivate our fox so that our fox matter.
Yeah,
And that's what I need to actually do. The even if
that
I
is
have
true. That's
anxiety
the
about it, to fuck off from fucking Facebook and Meta.
yeah. This is about and this is the discipline. The discipline required to live out on the edge and make it matter.
Oof.
It's easy to live on the edge and not matter if you just squander your talents out there. And your excuse for squandering your talents is the fact that you're on the edge. And then it's
Mic drop.
so yeah, that's for me. That's the hidden treasure here. It's it's all well and good to be on. If you already pay the price to be on the outside, then make it count. Make it count.
Make
Make
it
it count.
count.
Give it your all. Give it everything.
And let's bring some more people over the edge.
Yeah, because I mean we're going anyway. It's happening.
And they're gonna burn us anyway, so
Yeah.
All right, love. It was a pleasure to talk to you again.
It was.
Don't be a
Oh,
stranger.
I I'll try.
Thank you, everyone who listened in. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the commentary. See you around on the stacks. Let's be mad together. Matter or matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're all the Mad Hatters at the end of the day. So, end of transmission for tonight. See you around, babes. See you around, loves. And let me know if you do want to join the crew.